Welcome to Action Report, a video series where we analyse and break down the strategy used during invasion gameplay for the attacking and defending teams. In this video we're going to be looking at the British Armed Forces on the attack against the Russian Armed Forces on the defence. The server that I'm playing on is my own, and you can find links to it in the description below. We've got the British versus the Russian Armed Forces on Belaya Pass, and we'll see if there's any kind of like strategy or battle plan.
Be advised, Squad 3 are going to walk out of main, and we're going to set up on my move mark, G10. Anyone else there on command chat?
Yep.
I can't even get up now, holy shit. Oh god.
Okay, copy
Do we need a third attacking fob, or should we set
Wait, crazy
Being
over
abducted
Dante.
by NMA members.
Crazy over Dante.
I do want to set like two fobs right now, just so we can actually get in and push. Maybe a third one if possible.
We've got one or potentially two armoured vehicles. Suggest that we get them pushing with the lodges.
Most likely be taking the north roads. So we'll go with you, Squad 2. Squad 8, can you drive in front of us? We'll Squad 2 in the middle.
Roger that. You will do.
Looks like we've got some organisation between the infantry in the Logi, the FV432 in the transport armoured personnel carrier, and then behind them the FV520. Oh, we've got contact straight away. What have we got up here? Like a BTR 82A, light work for the 520. So usually what happens here is the Logi vehicle or logistics vehicle would have had full infantry inside of it, gone down this road. A BTR 82A like that, sat in ambush, would have just killed all of that attack, and then all the infantry, the Logi vehicle, all destroyed. However, this time around, with the FV432, managed to tank a lot of the shots. He had a BTR, then switched targets, killed the infantry in the Logi. But then ultimately, as he was switching targets, got killed by the FV520. So having that armour supporting a convoy not only protected your logistics vehicle and your infantry, but it also allowed you the firepower to return fire to an ambush. So 10 out of 10 on that convoy. But they did say that they're on point capping. Let's go check the point.
Because if we're taking it quite easy, then I'm not going to bother putting down the hab on the eastern side. We'll just wait and then place another one on the second cap.
Nice.
Don't place it down yet. I think we're good right now.
Two attack hubs.
You guys good?
One for the next flag.
Alright,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
is healed.
Just make sure that whichever hab we're putting down, we're defending it. Don't move off it.
So really smart play by the boys. I'm just going to highlight this point. Usually what would happen is you would get very comfortable in one building. However, these boys were split into two buildings. Now if this building comes under fire, you've got another building that can overwatch and support that building. You've got windows here that have pretty good view on both sides. One of the entrances, not the second entrance, but one out of two entrances into this building you can see from this building. And likewise, from this building, if that building comes under attack,
Get your own window.
you've got a lot of windows that you can see through, but you can also see one of the entrances. So you can cover each other. Enemy BTR 82A flying in.
Enemy BTR just pushing through.
Copy. BTR has gone south of Cooley.
Our medic is here. Let the medic take care of it. Bids. Too late. I'm watching up north.
The
friendly
APC, armoured personnel carrier. The best function of an APC is literally just to pick infantry up and drop them off. It's an over-armoured transport vehicle, but extremely useful at getting infantry through that small arms fire that they may get caught up in. Look at these boys just go.
There's still some of them up.
So let me just quickly explain. I know I've highlighted the boys a little bit, and I will move on to everyone else, but
I've been told my guys is saying there's a super fog being built up at F7.
so the next objective is that direction towards the northwest. And look at the boys. The boys are not going on that route. The route from where we are looking, you can see that all the enemy are kind of funneled into this kind of center of the screen. All the blueberries are going to be pushing up towards the northwest. All the red berries are going to be pushing down towards the southeast, and they're going to kind of meet in the middle. Now what the boys have done is they've gone, actually no, we're not interested in that firefight right there. We're going to dip in an area where we're going to get the least resistance. There's probably not going to be any enemy over here. By running south, let's have a look. There's pretty much absolutely zero enemy out here. So by them pushing into an opposite direction away from the next objective, that allows them to exfil. It's a good route out. And then from here they can start organising pickups. They might have a transport vehicle over here themselves that they can mount up in and then reposition onto the firefight.
Squad 8, as you come out, do like a pick if possible.
Sorry, come again? Did you say squad 1?
Yeah, 1 or
Yo,
8,
squad
squad 3 are to your west, waiting for a pickup if possible.
We'll do that, yeah.
Yo, squad 4, by the way, that hab's not gonna work because it's gonna be too close.
We can pick you up, squad 2,
Too
but I'm
close.
not drop you in point.
Two logistic vehicles travelling together. We'll follow them in a sec. I just want to make sure that we get to see the boys get picked up. Looks like the infantry fighting vehicle of Squad 1's FV520 comes picking up.
You guys make a bigger gap between the lodges, because if you get intercepted, you both die, we lose 2 lodges.
What you're seeing right here is extremely underrated. And what Tom just said there is extremely on point. If you lose both lodges... So we will catch up to this lodge run that's going on over here on the far west of the map. But you can see, like this right here, is extremely, extremely underused. Infantry fighting vehicle, armoured personnel carriers, can both transport troops.
He's at 345.
It looks like these boys have been spotted because Squad 12 on the enemy team is reacting to it. So what does Squad 2 do here? Do they continue to commit to this, or do they think that their position's exposed? Maybe consider falling back. Looks like radio's down. Looks like they're committing to this. Now there's an enemy squad which they're unaware of, plus the enemy commander that is all pushing their position. They are really not safe here. I do understand an element of safety. Alright, well, we're far enough away that the enemy shouldn't be able to find us. But it's such a bad hab placement. You are in the middle of a field. Yeah, you've got trees to kind of cover and conceal you. But you're in the middle of the open. There's a building over there. You could have used something like that. If you're not going to be bringing enough supplies with you to actually fortify this position, go a little bit further up. There's buildings over here that you can actually use, and use the natural structure that it's providing you with to protect your hab and radio. Putting it out in the middle of the open, bad choice. Second point, look at the distance. Look at the distance. So each of these squares, these big squares here, are 300 meters. And you can see that the objective's right at the top of this square. So you've got 300 meters there, about 280. And then you've got 300 meters here. And then you've got the hab, which is not placed yet, but the radio is bang on 600 meters from the objective.
Have you got any enemy contact
So
there?
you have to run 600 meters across this ground to be able to contest depot. This hab's better placed because you're within that 200 to 300 meter range. And in the Battle of Attrition, the enemy are going to have like 800 tickets. You start off on the attacking team with 200 tickets. The Battle of Attrition is always going to go in favour of the enemy or the defenders. If A, you build too far away, and B, it's just a ticket fight.
Right around that mark I put.
By the looks of it, you definitely need medics in that squad. And this is the problem. If you don't keep your... don't keep your squad nice and tight, your medics become useless. Your team just starts wasting tickets. Alright, it looks like we have got a little bit of some sort of super fob or something being built on Nicola. Is that the super fob that was reported earlier on? I believe it was.
Enemy radio on the northwest.
Coal mine's actually a better choice, but yeah. Coal mine would have given them a much better spot. It's really, really difficult to attack this. Look at how much tighter this squad is. And what Beans will be saying is, alright, I need Bravo here, I need Charlie there. Or like he'll be like, alright boys, everybody on me. Nice little overwatch spot. If we've got any flanking team. It does look like we've got a second position. Look at this.
Oh yeah, thank you. But what about the tank?
I don't see any tank right now. That's the issue.
Alright, we're gonna try and sneakily.
We've got 3 people that are over here on Overwatch.
BMP is.
And look at the patience of these 3 players. There's an ambush on BMP2. There's just a lat. Windmill trucks to our right. Well, rear.
Heading up northeast from the depot.
Your seat's asking where you can melt that thing in seconds. Just get the first shot on him.
Well, UAV gone.
Just be advised, squad 3 are holding the rocks to the south, squad 2 and any other squads push through us.
Testo was wanting to see not happen to ammo crate. The airstrike to that.
Oh, T-72B3's just arrived. Oh, that was a big hit. Been tracked though. Been hit again 3 times. He just walked into it 4 times. 5 times.
Is it both the tank and
Oh my god, this T-72B3 just walked into its absolute nightmare. What the hell? It's on fire! That's it, it's done.
PMP left.
T-72 is on
we should
dead right now, it's on fire.
we should utilize our hats?
T-72 is dead.
That T-72, B3 just walks into the worst ambush in existence. It got shot by so many different angles. Holy. I mean, really well played by this, these different positions. It looked like we had some sort of lat and hat over here. In fact, let's have a quick look on the map. Got a lat here. It looked like there was a hat or something towards the north because there was a rocket that came from there. Might have just been a lat. But here's the hat. This where are they? On the right here. Sulfur tuna. This is where a lot of the damage would have come in.
Down near you if you can.
Look at that angle as well, straight onto it. Very nice. That's the biggest enemy weapon. I can't believe a T-72B3 has just been shat on like that. It's unbelievable. And look, now we've got the 520 sat here with the infantry.
There shouldn't be much resistance or up or down.
Just go every day.
We're in the zone, we're capping 4 chevrons and now 5.
Blind their eyes. Keep her going. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it looks like friendly forces have just been able to swoop straight in.
Did you say you were tracked?
We'll go up top, have a look, see if we see anything top down that we can analyse.
Yeah, 7's tracked.
But the next objective is the one that we're going to be really paying a lot of attention to, the objective itself. What 7's called, it's tracked. Sounds like. Sounds like we just missed it, but the BMP2 got destroyed by the 520. It looks like the 520 didn't sustain much damage, if at all. A little bit of damage on the engine there. Should be fine. Right, let's have a look at how we exfil. Is there any communication again from the squads to be picked up, or how are they getting from where they are currently to the next objective? That's the point here. So northeast, I believe, is the obvious route. Yeah, so northeast path is the obvious route up to Nicola. You can see all the enemy spawning here. Enemy BTR is rolling in.
Too much resources attacking this hab.
234 tickets versus 429 for the
Enemy
defenders.
BTR coming up to E9 hab to the east.
There's a lot of infantry pushing this. Do we have lats and hats here? Oh, we do. We're going straight into cinematic mode for this.
On the hab on the E9.
Yo, any ammo bag, Mr.
Bro,
Here comes the pin. Lats and hats for days. Smelts are getting wiped out.
Enemy
Destroyed.
BTR is down.
Right, so we can see the objective from here. Not everything's rendered in. But holy, what has rendered in is all their emplacements. So usually, you'll see when we get over there, there's a lot more stuff that needs to be rendered in. But actually here, we can have a quick look at the emplacements used, and you can see there's a lot of Haskell walls over there. We'll have a better look at it properly when we're actually over there. I think that's like a scuffed view of what we've got, but that's where the enemy are. That's where the enemy have established some sort of defensive position on Nicola, and it's all about now how does command start organising these units? What we don't want to see is zero communication. Zero communication. People will just run. If you don't say stop running this direction or run this direction instead, people will just run. So, and if you don't say to the squads as a commander, alright, I need you to attack here, squad such and such, I need you to attack here. There may also be direct comms that we are not able to hear. There's also squad comms that we're not able to hear, so someone might have just said, alright, such and such needs to grab a lodgy and we'll all meet up over here.
I'm gonna try to call artillery on Nikolai.
Yeah, roger.
We should probably wait till we get some people on discard attacking.
Looks again.
They really super fought it.
Good.
Again, like the boys have managed to organise a lift. They must have done that in direct comms. But look at how effective it is. All these tickets from the Lodger vehicle and from the 520, with the infantry that's mounting up in there. And instead of going direct to that objective where you can see all them red marks, that's the obvious route. That northeast route is obvious. You can see now they're heading west. Previously they headed south. They still did head south after southeast. The objectives over here that there was just at. They all ran on foot towards this potential radio, and then from that radio they went south, got a pickup, and now they're travelling west, bearing northwest, over to this location, this direction. Does look like there is some enemy infantry, or some Russians scattered around here, which they might get ambushed in. Yep, it looks like the infantry unit is already facing that.
Good kill.
Thank you.
Infantry.
Alright, I'm just gonna call artillery on it.
Where do you want to drop off?
As far north as you can be bothered to do.
This front boy.
Actually here, we'll go east here.
Yeah, here. We're looking further.
And you can push
I
back.
love you.
Infantry north.
Ow!
Copy.
I just
Right, dismount.
Ow! Ow!
Okay.
Thank you,
Backwards.
I love you.
You get to push down. You have
Say bye to the frames.
Over.
Walls are breached, you're able to push in now.
Boom. We've recovered from the IET artillery FPS attack. The FPS destroyer.
Left to your west.
Oh, that is a lot of stuff that's been destroyed. I mean, they are trying to shovel stuff back up, it looks like. Trying to rebuild stuff. But you can see the devastation that it's had on whatever defences were in place here before. And this is the problem. Have a look at how centralised these defences are. And then look at all the other buildings that can be occupied. Let's have a look at the radius on the map. So they built everything in this very centre area just over here. They've got all of these other buildings, pretty much all the buildings and the lake and the northeast buildings as well. They're all in. We'll zoom up so we can so I can show you what I mean. So they've all centered. We've probably got about this sort of view here. That's probably the limit of the radio. Look at where they put their emplacements. Looks like we've got a repair station or something over here. I don't know why that's the only emplacements outside of that initial building, but you can see, like, everything else is all centered around a very small little area. What you're doing when you build stuff like that, as the creator of the builder of that project, is your infantry are going to use these observation towers. Your infantry are going to use these observation towers. And all you're doing is protecting this hab here in the very centre. You've got some walls around. But the problem is that you allow the enemy to start occupying these buildings towards the south. That hab's going to get proxied, and you can't spawn there anymore. So it would have been much better for the enemy. I'm just going to put the name tags on so that we can see how the battle develops. But you can see, we've got squad 2, I believe it is, towards the south. The enemy boys are pushing in on the south. We've got some more friendlies on this southwest side. We've got some more friendlies on the west of the map. So we've got 3 different angles that we're attacking from. We've got the west, southwest, and south. We've even got we've got Rice and Langy in the southeast over here. Just a couple of extra shooting angles. However, you can see how concentrated the enemy are. Now, what's going to happen is, because you've got fire coming in from the west, from the south, it's going to pin the enemy in there. The enemy are going to struggle to get out of that trap that they've just created for themselves. However, if there was this building on the east that was occupied, if there was these cluster of buildings on the southeast that was occupied, if there was these buildings that was on the northeast that are occupied, and you've got little emplacements here and there, like an observation tower plus a HMG bunker on the north side. On the southeast side, you've got the same thing. On the west side, you've got a Dishka or like a tripod HMG plus maybe like a couple of Haskell walls and a Haskell bunker or two. A little bit of an emplacement. And then in the buildings that you don't want the enemy to occupy, and there's a lot of them here, start putting barbed wire in there. It's 20 build resources for barbed wire, 40 for some sandbags. Some sandbags and barbed wire combination is going to really limit the amount of buildings that the enemy can get into. And it's going to slow them down. They're going to have to shovel down to get into them buildings. And if you put enough in there, it's going to really slow them down. But what you're going to be doing is you're denying the enemy to be able, the ability to be able to occupy these buildings. And as soon as you start doing that, then that gives you enough time to get your QRF, your quick reaction force, out of your defensive position and start counter-attacking these positions where the enemy are attacking, or in this case, the British Armed Forces are attacking. So the Russian QRF would be able to leave the base and go and counter-attack these positions. However, by putting such a concentrated defensive position on here, all that's going to happen is it's going to get pincered, maybe even encircled, and eventually the hab's going to get proxied. The Russians can't spawn here anymore. The British armed forces are just going to be able to keep swarming in, put pressure, and eventually that zone is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until that's destroyed. And this is a prime example of how a super fob doesn't work. So if you just go, right, I'm going to fortify this tiny little centre bit around the hab, you might as well not do that immediately, because it's just going to get proxied. You're not going to be able to spawn there. And then that's this point easily lost. You can see, doesn't matter how many people you're having there, they're all going to get pinned in. They're all going to get encircled. The hab's probably proxied now. You're not seeing any Russians spawning on the hab. And they're in. A walk in the park in terms of attacking a fob. So this would have been something that the enemy put a lot of faith into. That the Russians put a lot of faith into. Alright, you guys go take the first 2 objectives and defend that, but my squad, we're going to go super fob Nicola. Now, the other squad's like, alright, cool, you do that and we'll buy you enough time. And they've all invested into this plan to defend Nicola. And then a super fob's been created like this where it's concentrated. It takes a static barrage or a creeping barrage to wipe it out entirely. And now you've got no plan B. They're going to be scrambling onto the, I think the final objective, or the 4th objective at this point. But you can see, what a disaster for the Russian team. And a real easy attack on what should have been very difficult for the British armed forces. See, look. Like, coal mine is a much better choice for a super fob to be placed because you've already got a very large structure that you can fortify. Your logistic route is very short. So terrain is in your advantage. Your logistics are in your advantage. And there's not really much places that the enemy can, or the British can, really position themselves around this area. So when it comes to your location of a super fob, you have to take into account how much time do you have before you expect the enemy to be on your door. And you've also got to take into consideration how, like, based on that time that I've got, how much improvements or upgrades do I need to do in order to upgrade this area that I'm attempting to protect and defend. The amount of stuff, the amount of preparation that you would need to defend Nicola, a city or a small town, it's quite a lot of time. And you're going to have quite, like, the mathematician's kind of, like, brain power to be able to comprehend, alright, this is where I expect my enemy to come from. Like we knew that that the British were going to be attacking from the southwest. It's the most travelled, it's the most obvious route. So Nicola here, we knew that southwest was going to be the most obvious route right there. We knew that. Why wasn't that the most protected area? At some point in the future, I'll explain to you what a perimeter defense is. And how my thought process is when I develop a super fob. This is just a kind of like a little brief kind of touch on a generalized super fob. Like, look at how much work you need to do to fortify this area. It's much larger than the 2 or 3 buildings that was there previously. Ascot wall here, that's one entrance done. You've got all this natural construction here. Another entrance here, you know, HMG bunker, a couple of Ascot walls, very simple. Round here, you've got a doorway, you know, a couple of Ascot bunkers, maybe a Ascot wall observation tower. Same here, you can actually keep this open, throw a repair station in here, and now your vehicles, when they come to repair, they don't have the fear of being any kind of like airstrike wiping them out whilst they're repairing. And you can like put like Ascot walls either side to make this a defensible position, Also a position where your vehicles can easily just reverse into. And then sat inside of it, you've got a repair station. In fact, are they putting one down? Should something get placed? Oh yeah. There's a repair station, boom. A really nice safe place for you to repair. What is that though? Oh, they're fortifying it. They're actually putting the BTR in there and keeping it in there as like a defense. That's quite smart actually. I do approve of that. That's quite smart. But now with a few doors, I mean, you're not going to have the time to because you're already going to be getting attacked. So it looks like the tank's straight on scene here. But then you can start putting a few emplacements on top. Not everything on top. Because you're going to get artillery and you're going to lose 70 to 90% of the stuff that's on top here. You're going to lose it. So you don't want to invest heavily, too much on the top. But you do want to fortify the top, some Haskell walls. Maybe just sandbags. You know it's going to get artillery, so you don't mind losing it. Ideally, what you want to be doing is you want to be putting some other positions around. So a little outpost here in this building. This could cut off some angles. What angles do we have in here that we can cut off? Yeah, I mean, you can get like a little fire team in here. Just some sandbags. Just being absolute little rat lords in here. You know, you can maybe get a HMG bunker to be able to sit just in here. So it's protected from the artillery. But it also protects the North Hills. You know, you don't need a HMG bunker sat in the middle of the open like this. You can just put it right in here. You've got natural protection around you. You've got sandbags here and a couple of infantry in here as well with ammo box in here. They're going to love life in here. And then this HMG bunker like it's protecting your north flank. So just very, very simple emplacements. And then over here, what have we got? We've got a little building. What angles does this provide us? Not really much. Like something like this, you can just barb wire this off. You want to just deny the building to the enemy. But now that we've kind of got the centre core fortified, start looking on these hills. Put a few, like 4 or 5 Haskell walls, couple of bunkers, maybe an observation tower up here. HMG bunker. Boom. Maybe even a tow as well. And you're looking at all kinds of stuff over here. Same on the south flank, but we're going to have to look because looks like we've got a firefight here with the tank. Looks like a tank beat tank. T-72B3. Oh, they missed their shot. Not T-72B3. Yeah, it actually is. Against the 40-34. They missed their shot again. T-72 got destroyed here. Big time. They have been missing their shots. What are they hitting? T-72 got absolutely shot on.
Careful on the road you're coming down because there's a BTR coming down on your right.
T-72B3's on fire. And the FV-40-34 has won that tank fight with some little assistance from some lats or hats on this rest of the tank.
You got enemies on the top here. We got 80.
Don't shoot.
Let me get rocket.
Let's have a look at that BTR. Be in this position. It's a really nice position. It's a little bit close, like, but with this repair station, it's going to do absolute wonders. It's going to be a nightmare of a position to push. Really fortifying it. Really nice work there. But look at how little you've invested into this, and the effects. It's going to be devastating. This repair station is going to be doing wonders. It is so cheeky. Repair station, and then just absolutely hunkered down. All the vulnerable parts of this vehicle are in here. But soon, if they're not careful, that is going to be... oh my god, we've got the tank coming now as well. Oh! You're not going to survive that.
Sorry if I hit you.
Grenade out. Grenade out.
You can move up. I have a technical.
Sounds like we've got a tow on the east as well. That might be the BMP2. Let's have a look inside. How we're looking on the breach. Immediately again, the hab is proxied. Hey, you got a Russian right next to you. Just run over a Russian.
Guys, below this one, careful.
What the fuck? Alright, we're almost capping. This is good.
Yeah, I was
You're
gonna
good
Fuck
to
it,
go.
I would say that quick.
There's a guy right underneath.
Do not shoot, please.
Hey, well, there's land right to your west, southwest.
What is in here?
Well, I think it's up right over you.
Got him. I got you.
What is that placement now as well?
Oh shit, they got another fucking
I
IV.
mean, this is actually really quite nice. I didn't realise that you could place a indirect fire shelter on top of a radio.
Oh, these guys go.
Really, actually quite nice.
Holy shit, they got destroyed.
He's not wrong.
It's kind of bullying.
Who said it for me?
That was smooth.
Oh shit, there's a lot of people in here. Oh, some people in need healing.
It is the last point. Absolute steamroll from the British Armed Forces there. In summary, we had the catastrophe that happened on the super fob that they probably put all their eggs into. Yeah, it looks like the start of the downfall for the defending teams was all that investment into the super fob, and with the lack of creativity on establishing that super fob was the downfall of that game. And that's why today the British were victorious, and the Russians faced defeat. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Until next time, take it easy.
Great game. 15 point, well done.